I'm sorry, but relationships are just so overrated. Relationships can just be so messy. They require so much emotional labor where you're constantly like having to check up on each other and making sure the other person is fine. Like, who the heck really wants a good morning text? Like, it is such an ick to have to like wake up to this cringy good morning text. And what if you just want to sleep in and like just like ignore the world for a few hours? But then you're in this relationship and you realize, oh no, you've got to wake up in the morning and send that person a good morning text. I feel like so many relationships are like built off food as well, and that can just be so unhealthy. I've honestly seen so many couples who, when they got together, they were both like quite slim and looked like they were in good shape, and then as soon as they've been together like a year, they've both put on so much weight. Going back to the texting, how exhausting is texting? I'm honestly one of those people who just hates texting. Like, honestly, when you're texting a whole paragraph on your phone, like, don't you just feel like sick? Especially if you're in a relationship where there's a bit of distance. You are going to be guaranteed that you're going to have to do this texting business every day. And oh my gosh, texting is so annoying. And then when you text somebody, even if you didn't want to and you're not a fan of texting, there's this thing in the back of your like subconscious mind that is like waiting for the text back. And if the person hasn't texted you back for like half an hour to an hour, you start getting really paranoid and start thinking of all these scenarios and things and reasons why somebody hasn't texted you back. And honestly, it's just so unhealthy. That's why myself, if somebody texts me, I'm probably just going to like the message or just like read it and ignore it. It's like every day you're constantly having to manage somebody else's emotions. Like, there are so many girls that I know that dress a certain way, and then as soon as they've got in a relationship, they're having to like ask their other half what they think of their outfit, whether they think it's appropriate. And then, for example, if you're in a relationship and you wake up in a really good mood one day, and then your other half is having like a really down, miserable day, and then you're like, oh, well, I can't be happy now because I'm going to have to manage your emotions and try and make you happy. Like, please tell me, is that not exhausting? And honestly, all of this like time you spend managing another person's emotions just takes you away from your own goals. Peace is honestly something that should be so valued these days. There is so much crap and bad things that go on in this world. If you can just feel peace for the rest of your life by being single, you'd much rather have that than just being in a relationship where it's always up and down because you're having to manage somebody else's emotions and you feel like you have no mental peace. As well as being single means you have way much more control over your time. You're only worrying about your own mood and your own priorities. I know so many women who go through the same things with their husband. Like, they can be feeling a certain way and feeling like really happy, but then when their moody, miserable husband comes home, it just ruins everything. And to be honest, a lot of people don't even know what love is or how to love properly. They think that love is being like really possessive over you, and that literally leads to a lot of manipulation, a lot of insecurity, and a lot of clinginess that you eventually get so fed up of. I really don't even see any relationships these days anymore where you see like a genuine kind of like partnership between people. A lot of girls these days crave this kind of like princess treatment relationship where the guy just pays for everything and gets them all of these nice things, and they just act like this like real housewife. That just leads to a complete lack of self-worth. And honestly, in a world where relationships are so overrated, freedom is underrated. When you have that freedom of not being in a relationship, you can literally travel, go places, talk to new people, all without that thing in the back of your mind wondering how that person you're in a relationship with is gonna feel. When people do things in a relationship, like I've seen where people have had to like go out late at night and then their other half is like, where did you go? Why did you go there? Who were you with? And then all these questions come and you just can't like live. You can't breathe. It is so exhausting having to constantly explain yourself. Like, if you are in a relationship right now and you're watching this video and you decide that next week you're going to book yourself a trip to Paris, you are definitely going to have to tell your partner about it. And explain it all to them and give them this big list of reasons of why you're doing this like solo trip to Paris. Whereas if you're single, you can just go ahead and do that, and that whole stress is removed. Like, honestly, when you're single, you can do way less talking and you get less headaches. Honestly, that freedom that comes with being single is just so powerful. Like, seriously, there is a whole big world out there waiting for you to explore it. And when you're in this like toxic relationship, you can't even enjoy the world because you're constantly having to think of how your other half will perceive it. I've seen girls who have been in jobs where they've got like quite a few male colleagues, and then their other halves are getting so insecure about it and questioning them. Like, tell me, is that just not daily exhaustion? Having to think about all of this stuff. And people need to recognize that love and a relationship doesn't fix like this emotional gap or loneliness they have. But people need to see that if you're not happy by yourself, you are still not going to be happy in a relationship. This is something that needs to be said more often, but you need to be completely 100% happy with yourself and your own life first before you decide to mix in another person and their life with yours. Because then all you're doing is basically adding in someone else's problems, someone else's mood into the mix, and that just makes your own life a complete mess. And then you just end up feeling so overwhelmed and like not even happy. For example, you think, if I get in a relationship with this guy or girl, I'm going to feel so validated, I'm going to have loads of fun things to do, I can go on all of these like nice fun dates, and I don't need to like try and look good for anyone else anymore, whatever. Still on the inside, you feel so crap and you're still not happy with yourself. For deciding to add somebody else's life into the mix and adding their expectations to it all because you're going to do nothing but just make yourself miserable. Oh yeah, and don't expect that another person is going to suddenly make your lifestyle much better. Like I kind of alluded to earlier, a lot of girls will get with like a rich guy. They think, oh, I'm going to go on so many nice fancy holidays now. I'm going to get all the nice designer handbags and I'm going to get all of these gifts. And then when they realize that this guy is just kind of paying for everything, and after a while the reality sets in, and then on the inside they just feel so like empty. But just imagine if you were paying for all of those holidays yourself and buying all them things for yourself, you would feel so much more happy. So I'm not trying to say that all relationships are just inherently bad. What I'm saying here is that peace and solitude is actually so underrated and relationships are overhyped. Honestly, society, films, TV, all of that I've mentioned before have not really glamorized and talked about how much peace and solitude can be so much better. Like, imagine having finally bought your dream house and then you're in a relationship that's like really toxic and draining of your energy. But then again, imagine yourself in that same house but being alone and having all of the peace. People are not glamorizing peace, solitude, self-sufficiency nowhere near as much as they are being in a relationship. Peace is something that is so hard to come by in today's world, but if you can get it by just like being on your own, why not? It makes me think of the whole like crazy cat lady analogy where people have said like, oh, she's just a crazy cat lady for like such a long time, and have made fun of like women who just like are on their own, living on their own with like 25 cats. But now like growing up and realizing the crazy cat lady is not the crazy one. It's literally all of you people who have like glamorized relationships too much and you are all miserable and exhausted, while the crazy cat lady is feeling so much peace in her daily life with her cats purring away. I really don't know what people are going to make of this, whether anybody is even going to see this, but after some years of maturing, I definitely think I have it figured out.